So how did I get in this terrible shape that I'm currently in a matter of just a couple of months? I was well on my way to bulking up, and I just lost fuel. I think this is a caution to people in my age group, but people that, well, let's face it, food, nutrition isn't what it used to be. I can go all day long trying to eat all the right things, and I just don't feel fueled. I don't feel resilient. I don't feel like pounding out a session. The only time that I feel like that is when I'm lighter. Say fighting weight, but I think fighting weight, but I think fighting for your life, fighting to stay alive, fighting for blood flow, you know. So what do we have going on here? I've been having some issues with this stuff too, so bear with me. Let's see how I'll get back. So I went for some nice walks the other day. I've got those in here on another channel that I like to sneak some things in on. Let's take a look. I think that is privatized. Yeah, right here. Let's see if I can play that from this side. This was a nice walk that we did. Me and my boys down at the beautiful Solomar.
This way we get to go on a walk.
You get to kind of like relax that way.
Yeah.
It's a chilly time of the year. A beautiful time of the year. Definitely want to be outside. The atrophy.
Yeah, you climbed up that rock, right?
And the stagnancy.
No, I watched you climb up that.
Isn't a choice. Yeah, so this rock, it doesn't look like much right here, but the only way to climb up there, so typically, like when we did climb it, there was quite a bit more water. It was a lot choppier, and it has to be climbed from the other side around here. There's no face. This part points way out. It's very hard to tell, like, the dimensions in this particular scene, but if you want to know what'll keep you in shape, my son has taken me out. In fact, we've walked this where you get off the trail.
There was one rock you used to go back to, though.
And instead of walking on the trail, you walk
We climbed up
over
that,
the
me and
terrain.
Antonio did, right? Wow, that's crazy. I could never
And
do that.
we got up there. Beautiful Monterey Peninsula. There's no beachfront like this.
Ledge, right? You almost
That water and the windshield is cold as heck.
Yeah.
And it's a good time to set some physical, personal goals. So right now I'm teetering on 210.
Anymore.
Kind of teetering between 208 and 212, right around that area. I don't think I
Medium
quite
tide,
hit
right?
212, at least not on the times when I was honest with myself, but not a
Well, we went all the way
muscular,
down here,
well-trained
though, not too long ago.
208 right now. Yeah, so you can imagine how challenging that is, just getting around. You know, people think of hiking in a particular way, and they see somebody doing it, but they don't realize how many aspects.
You get B-roll
So
footage
we've walked
down here.
all along here and then up through. It takes a lot longer, but how many aspects of the human kinetic chain is involved? And this is Santa Cruz area over here. Plan on doing a lot more
Oh, to your last.
outdoor videos around the area, Carmel Valley, you know, walking around some areas. So right now what we're dealing with to get to the point here is, let's switch this up. My son and I are starting a gaming channel because he has so many games that I'm going to try to get into gaming with him. And it's just going to be me. It's going to be him having his dad play the game for the first time and see what my reactions are. And my kids are like so versed on these video games. What am I trying to do here? I think I'm hoping that by the time I get to the main page, I'll have the video that I'm trying to upload will be completely uploaded. It seems like they changed some things around here on YouTube though. It's bizarre. It's not really interacting with me the same way. So we're live here and we are going into the video managing. That looks like it is available. So this is where we're at. This is what we're dealing with. This is where I was. I had gained a pretty solid, good amount of weight. Though I was pretty muscular, it was fat weight, right? So this is where we were on October 13th. Right, October 13th, we were right here. I know that doesn't seem like long, but that's a month and a half. This is where we were. We're not going for size anymore, so I was dealing with putting on a little bit of pudge so I could put on some size. Right? Got the arms up to approaching like 17 and a half inches. They were over 17 and a quarter. And got to this point where I got bigger than my body wanted to be, and my body just sort of shut down. It went into like shutdown mode. And that was like going on a couple months ago, and I just couldn't rebound. The only way I can keep any effective training going is when I get down to those pretty low body weight levels, lower body fat levels. So this is where we are in such a short period of time. We just let it go. We just let it go. Yep. Full man boobs back. No training, zero training. Couldn't even pick up a weight. Wouldn't even pick up a weight. Most of my arm size has shrunk down at least an inch. The back fat's fully back. Everything's sort of hanging off. And that's just the reality. So my goal weight where I feel good is getting down to that 155, and how I'm going to do that is carnivore. Carnivore is the answer. Carnivore is the way. It's the only way for me. Like, I may have complained about it in the past. I may have had issues with carnivore in the past, but got my matching socks there being facetious.
For what's to come, and stay tuned. It is November 29th, 2025, and my goal is to effectively get down as low as I can in 1 month. So that's what this is all about.
Obviously, I need to visit the shaver there, but that's where we're at. I'm going to be showing a daily video log of my carnivore quest. Right now, I've got carnivore supplies. My son surprised me. He brought over a lot of very high calorie stuff, very high carbohydrates that my other son can eat and use during these holiday times where carbs become much more popular, and people who are working their asses off, like my older son and my younger son to a different extent. He went on Wegovy. He's been on Wegovy, the GLP-1 for not. I was telling him to stay away from that stuff, but he's been on it for going on 3 months, and it's kept his weight low. He was just skyrocketing. He kept going up until he was like 230 pounds. Really similar, right? But he's younger. He's got bigger shoulders. You've seen Antonio. And so our goal is to start doing some training together. Now, I don't know if you can see it over here. See if I can point the camera over in that direction. This is just a webcam. Yeah, you can't really see it, but you can see the bench. There's a shit ton of weights, and then we've got the TRX set up in the other room. So the whole idea, the whole goal here is to transition our lifestyle, like my kids and myself, transition our lifestyle. I got this on a suction and now I've messed it all up, toward a complete and total focus on diet, health, and nutrition. So many people give their opinions, but you very seldom, even with professionals, so-called professionals, you very rarely see people who are effectively doing something that actually works, right? And the way to do it is, just like I was showing, you need to get your butt outside and expose yourself to some aromatic amino acids. And that's how we lose the nice pump, the nice, beefy arms in such a short period of time. You just stop training, you stop focusing on things. So right now I've got nearly 18 pounds of protein powder. I'm about to do my shopping. I guess let's think about the positives, right? So if I was to go into this to do my shopping, if I was to go into this realistically, and once we start making some headwind here,
So I really got out of it.
I still have some good arm size on. You don't just lose all your muscles. That's a beautiful thing. I don't see, even though the waist is expanded and wider, right, by several inches, you don't see globs of fat dripping over. It's mostly around the chest area these days where I put it on. And that's just from improper PCT years ago, that left me with this sort of coat that I put on. But there's nothing hanging. I mean, at 205 and not really well trained, you could say things could be a lot worse, right? Things could be a lot worse. I could already see myself possibly dropping down to 198, like pretty much overnight, just by losing excess waste and water. But you can see the propensity for this just wider waist, right? But I think I'm catching things before they get too bad. I don't know about what you think. I think obviously also I'm in a very relaxed state. You can see, even though you see the protrusion, you can see the abdominal wall and the definition, right? Yeah, the boobs are really saggy. Lost a lot of chest, but I still have some decent shoulder muscle going there. So I've got an engine behind the whole thing. The worst part of it is, but the best part is how quickly my back does get in shape, how much back training I do. I just can't handle the heavy weights and the pounding all the time, right? So let's see the goal. So, since I can show it, because I've got it on the channel, let's see what it is that we're going to be accomplishing here. So we'll go back to the home page, scroll down to some prior times here. So we're going to go into last year. So you can see how, it's a struggle with me eating carbs at all. Like once I add the carbohydrates in, it's the beginning of the end. This is where we were just a few months ago, right? 2.5 months ago. I was deciding whether or not I wanted to get down further. So that's how quickly I went from 205 down to 185, 180, pretty much overnight. So there's 9.9, and this is 7. Maybe I didn't change much there. I think I've been deliberating my goal for far too long, but I got down to that 185 like pretty much overnight. I don't think I actually captured that on the scale, but this is where we were a year and a half ago. So it had been a while since I had posted, and I'm going to be posting regularly again. So obviously these were some older videos that I made public. And then this is, yeah, so I'm about in this same weight area right now as I was, what, 4 or 5 months ago, right? 4.5 months ago. That's where I was. And so this is pretty much the goal weight of where we're going back to. And I'd like to achieve this in 2 months. I've done it before. So this is about where we were exactly a year and a half ago. This is a manageable weight. Many people would say, oh, that's too thin. This is eating 4,000 or 5,000 calories a day on carnivore. Granted, I had my water balance was pretty off here, but you can see the dramatic, stark difference, right, of me being out of the gym here, walking, working, but just focusing on carnivore. You can see the dramatic difference, right? You can see it. So you really have to work with your body weight. You'd be surprised at how small and lean you can get. And this is just a year and a half ago, right? So many would say that's just too thin. But, you know, I was able to do considerable amounts of pull-ups, much stronger than you would think I would be. I mean, able to go up and pick up, believe it or not, 55, 60-pound dumbbells right soon after that. It took me about a week to get used to. But that's when I'm out of shape, right? Not really in a good muscular condition state at those low levels. Then this is a little over a year and a few months later here. So it's just finding that happy balance, right? And that's the initial response that I had to this trimethylglycine, right? But yeah, you can see I got pretty jacked compared to those last. So health-wise, at 56 years old, it's just far better to focus in on being lighter and being able to move with what you got. Is there a middle ground? I really think it's it's based on people's personalities, right? And this is the time where I kind of got messed up, where, you know, you have to go through proper PCT cycles, but it was much later after that. I did do proper PCT cycles directly after that. And let's see here. This is me just sort of leaving the gym and what 155 pounds looks like, right? When you're pumped up, when you're leaving the gym. So believe it or not, that's just within like a week or so of that video where I was looking just all sucked up, right? So that's the goal. That's what we're going toward, and that's something that's very feasible and something that I've done very recently. And, you know, let's get into that really positive, healthy state of mind. Let's do it together. I'd really like to get a little more community support here as far as people just being involved with the community, like-minded people that are trying to go on carnivore, believe in carnivore, lose the weight. No, I've tried every diet. I've instructed people on nutrition and dieting. I've studied this stuff, and I'm not proclaiming myself as a reigning expert, but I have the toolkit and the knowledge base. Shame on me for ever getting in that predicament, right? Well, that's America. that's the way it goes, and there's only so many resources that we have available to us at any given time. So working with what we have, trying to make the best of it. And again, we'll leave off with where I'm at. Let's, in all practicality, let's take a look at that again. Let's take a look at that again and see where we're at. And that's the reality of the situation here on November 29th, 2025. Things could be a lot worse, but they could definitely be better. I started out with cherry pie today. I was planning on just doing protein fasting. My son got a bunch of sirloin burgers, so I've got those. I've got no excuses. We've got eggs. I think there might even still be, I could be wrong, I don't think there is bacon, but we're going to be ordering all the carnivore stuff next week. In fact, about a week and a half, almost exactly a week and a half away. So right now, I'm just playing with getting my protein intake up. That's initially what I do, right? And we want to start shrinking that waist, holding less waste in the stomach area, increasing blood flow. And really what happens with me is not until I bring that weight down and I'm starting to be able to work with my own body weight, right? And I'm about 20 pounds away from maybe doing that at this point. But once I get back down into that 185 area, I'm able to start doing, effectively doing sets of pull-ups, arm curls, hanging arm curls with my body weight, just working with my body weight. TRX chest presses, TRX flies, TRX rows, just working with my body weight is the main focus, right? So we want to obviously bring down these areas. I'm not going to say that I can target specific areas, but it does end up happening. Like once you start working an area and you're kinetically working on everything together systemically, these really troubled areas start to come down, right? So the beauty of this, getting back to the positives, is whatever muscle mass I have, I'm taking in more protein, and I'm starting to train. So I'm getting those receptors firing again, and that's the main goal, is to just remind yourself that you're still alive. Getting outside, getting more aromatic amino acids, making it count. All right, folks, Rogue Beast Warrior out. Make it count. This is the countdown. By the end of the year, where would I like to be? I think that I could actually drop down 30 pounds. I really do. I think in 1 month, without doing anything radical, just focusing in primarily on the protein fasting as well as carnivore, mainly carnivore, and just focusing on keeping ketones up and staying in gluconeogenesis, I think I could go from 208 pounds down into the low 170s. So my goal is to lose about 35 pounds. 35 pounds is my honest goal in 1 month. Let's see if we could do it. Let's see if by the end of the year here in 2025, I could lose 35 pounds in 1 month. Let's see if we can do it. All right.